What's up, everybody? It's your boy Black Caesar, aka Malachi Johnson III, aka Caesar Alamo, aka Black Caesar.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Crazy P, aka CP, fried beans, fried pork, black TMZ. We're here, episode 8. Let's get it.
All right, everybody, what it is, we back at it again. This is our 8th episode, and you're now tuned in. You can't stop playing our SoundCloud. You're all over our Facebook page. We already know what it is. We ignorant.
MySpace.
MySpace, you're on our Black Planet checking our shit out, and you can't stop. So, we're back at it again this week, and we have a lot of interesting topics to talk about. A lot of crazy shit as usual. It gets crazier and crazier as summer approaches. So let's get into it. So the first thing that we're gonna talk about is whose man's is this? So for my whose man's is this, it goes to Ibrahim Johnson. He's the brother of the number 2 recruit in the class of 2017 for the NCAA. Pretty much, this man is mad because his brother didn't choose him to be his agent. So his brother said that he felt like he would feel a little bit better, or he would feel a little bit more secure if he had like a professional agent with a lot of experience, this and this and this and that, whatever. So the brother of the NCAA recruit goes on Facebook Live and snitches and says, "Oh, he was getting like weekly allowances, credit card bill payments, TVs, beds. Like this man just went out and snitched on his brother just because he's mad his brother didn't pick him as an agent." So it's like you have no experience being an agent. You have no experience with the NCAA. Your brother's out here trying to make it. So your response to that is to try to sabotage him, bro. Like, whose man's is this?
I mean, yeah, it's really messed up that he went that far over that. But as the brother or the main guy, he should have tried to like do something, right, to bring him in as like, something that he can do. You know what I mean? Because it's hard out here for these dudes. You know what I mean? So to have your brother go and you just in the background, I think the brother could have like found like a small role, you know what I mean, for him to play. But nonetheless, it's really messed up that he went that far into it and got him exposed. Um, and the fact that the NCAA is breaking its rules is even worse, right? Like when a player does some crazy shit, they go, "Oh, this is the bug, this is the law, blase blase," but they go breaking that shit to like get a recruit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that double standard is really, what the fuck. So
Yeah, I mean it's their rules. They break it. It's wrong, but let's be honest. They break it. We know they break it. They know we know they break it. They just don't give a fuck. But for this man to go on Facebook Live and snitch, that's not cool, bruh. Like that's not cool. I understand you're hurt. I understand, but at the end of the day, you have no credibility. You have no experience. So what could you really bring to the table? I do agree that the brother could have created a role for him, but if you're an NCAA player, like what role could you really create for your brother? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if you're a rapper and you got like one of your boys that's
security,
cool,
the security.
security. You don't really
You gonna be
need
like, yo,
security
all
in the
right,
NCAA.
like you have no talent, but wherever I go, just be my bodyguard and I'll pay you, whatever, a small amount. You know what I mean? But I think you're right that as family, you know what I mean, he should have went and done this behind closed doors, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be for the whole world to see that. So,
Yeah, and he was even so the brother was even willing to get his certification to be an agent, but you only got one life, bro. You only got one future, and you're a rookie, your brother's a rookie, and y'all competing against like really old, powerful white men. You need all the edge up you can get, real shit. So I don't blame him. I blame his brother for being a snitch.
but who do you think I mean, so should the punishment or backlash come on, obviously the brother, but should we also forget the NCAA doing the shit that they're doing? I mean, you know what I mean? I think like that should also be a big story in the headlines. Is it or is it not?
Damn, it's kind of conflicting because I mean, shit, I'd rather just know that there's an organization out there paying the bills of young black men and just like helping them out. Of course, we know it's not all innocent, like because they want them on their team. But if these young men are working the system, getting the most they can out of it, it's already corrupt. Like the NCAA, like there's nothing we can do about it. It's corrupt, so the people that are getting these benefits just might as well milk that shit and call it a day. I don't think there should be a big scandal because at the end of the day, who suffers? The young black recruit. So keep giving out this money. If you're a recruit, just keep taking that shit under the table. Ignorant shit. That's my advice. Black Caesar out.
Yo, that being said, I forgot the guy's name, but there's a guy who's trying to create a black football league, a black college football league, that would pay the players, um, a fair amount of money. And so I think that need to happen. You know what I mean? So if that's gonna happen, where the NCAA is gonna pay players behind their back, and they're not paying every player that's good behind their back. You know what I mean? So if this, black college league can happen, hey, let's make it happen. And so that way we can pay everybody across the board. Everybody's happy and everybody can play and enjoy, being a student athlete. So that's my take on that. All right. Moving on to my whose man's is this? This is a video that I saw. I feel like all mine's whose man's is this is a video on Worldstar. I'm like an addict on Worldstar, guys. I apologize.
Ain't nothing wrong
But
with
I'm
that, bro. Ignorant shit.
that's just that's just where I get most of my, because there's so much shit on there. That's like, yo, what's going on? Anyway, so this video is of a this daughter that's just beating her mom on this bus,
Mm.
and I gotta admit, she's Haitian, so I was a little bit ashamed to see that.
Ooh.
But she's just like, yo, slapping her, pulling her hair, beating her, and the mom is just crying. The mom is freaking out.
Well, what's the
Um,
context? I mean, I'm one of those people that always asks for context. I would love to just be like, oh, damn, like she beating her mom, but what did her mom do? Does it show it?
it doesn't say, there's no context. Although I did find out that a few years back, I don't know, but like recently, they were in an accident where the mom's son had died, I believe. And her mom had died anyway. Like some members of her family had passed away in an accident, and she was in a coma, pretty badly. And the daughter who was doing the beating had some brain injury or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but that's not. I mean, that probably happened, a year back or a few years back. So it's not directly related to this incident. So in this incident, all you see is the video of her like beating her mom and saying, "Hey, mom, let's go," and the mom is not going for some reason. She just like slapping her and everything. But the sad part is that the bus is full of people and no one's doing anything.
No one's stopping
You
it.
know what I
That's
mean? And there's
crazy.
one
Yeah.
guy that's like, just calm down the whole time. I'm like, yo, that's not working. Like, intervene, nigga. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, um, whose woman is this? Like, what the hell's going on in, I guess, Miami, or yeah, definitely in South Florida. It just happened. So,
Damn.
um,
Fuck.
yeah, another L for South Florida. You know what I
Another
mean?
L.
First you got 21 Savage, and then this. So, I
Nah,
don't
nah.
know,
We
man.
got Kodak Black.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant to say. Kodak Black. My bad, 21 Savage. I meant Kodak Black. But yeah. So whose woman is this? I it was really sad to see, and I hope the mom is okay and she's not too hurt, and they were able to get some help. And yeah, man.
And fuck
So
all those people on the bus that didn't do shit. Y'all terrible.
they all watch. I mean, like we live now in a society where when shit happens, bro, everybody's just on their phone
Pulls out their
filming that
phone.
shit,
Yep.
commenting, but no one's like trying to intervene to like fix the problem. So, yeah. Next up is our segment, Hot Sheet.
Hachi.
Sheet. All right, so I got two hot sheet. Well, I got one hot sheet and then one, not the hot shit, but it's not new hot shit. It's like classic hot shit. All right, so the first one is Sense8, which is a Netflix original, which got canceled recently, right? Because the show just was going nowhere. You know what I mean? Like it was a dope ass show, but it just got weird and weirder, and it just kept going in circles. Anyway, it got canceled, and the internet just like lost its mind. And somehow, some way, I guess the Sense8 people, directors slash Netflix, heard the people and decided to do a 2 hour finale. I believe that's happening next year. It's gonna be dope. And so that's gonna be some new hot shit coming next year, and hopefully it's gonna put an end to the story so we can have a finale. We can end everybody's characters and be happy because I hate when they have good shows and they just get lost in it and it doesn't go anywhere and it just gets canceled. And it's like, yo,
And
what the
there's no
fuck happened?
closure.
And there's no closure, like fucking Heroes, bro. That show was dope, and it's like the writers just like couldn't make it good anymore and it just got canceled. I'm like, yo, I spent my whole time, to this fucking show and it never ended. I never got any closure. So I'm happy that they're gonna do it a 2 hour finale. They can end it and we can all move on with our lives and be happy.
Well,
All right.
here's my thing though with
What's up?
Sense8. Y'all, you telling me that a show on Netflix gets canceled? Y'all put together some petitions, and that shit gets renewed. But yet we have this man in the office, and y'all can't put together a petition to find out what the fuck's going on with Russia, or to like get some shit popping. Like y'all can bring back Sense8, but y'all can't get this man out of the office. That's fucked up.
But that's a good point though. It's crazy how in the entertainment industry you can make this happen, but in real life shit, it doesn't,
Yeah, people
it
just care about like fictional shit, and then in the meantime, the whole world is going apart, like falling apart in flames. But when it comes to entertainment, like better not cancel my show, or else I'm a harass Netflix and the Sense8 cast on Twitter. I don't know, it makes no sense, man.
Bro, I feel like this country is one of it might be the only country, but it's one of the countries that, puts entertainment and art above everything else, if you know
Yep.
what I mean. Like, engineer, lawyer, like everything else that we need that exists in society, it's like second tier to like, Hollywood, the music industry, fashion, you know what I mean? Like stuff that is just entertainment is like that's way more important than like regular real shit. So
I mean, our president is a reality TV show star, for God's sake. That
yeah,
proves the point.
yo, that's saying something, yo. If you
Yeah,
put it in that, if you put it in that, yeah, if you look at it like that in that perspective, it's damn, our president is a fucking TV star. That's anyway. Um, moving on. My next hot shit is Haitian music, which is called compa music. Uh, and guys, the way you spell that is either Compa or Konpa. I feel like Haitian music, compa, does not get shine at all.
it
To other
doesn't.
cultures,
No, it
um,
doesn't.
as if like like Jamaican music, is heard all over. So I feel like, um, I don't know, man. I was just hearing it today. I was like, yo, this is good music, and I wish it would get exposed to other individuals to kind of appreciate, a true, authentic African inspired, music that is I feel like people would like it. So yeah, if you're out there and you like to hear music from other countries, even though you don't understand the language, check it out. I feel like you'll fuck with it. You know what I mean? It's very kind of R&B inspired, merengue inspired, African drums. So that's my hot shit. That's not really well known, but it's definitely good shit. So yeah.
All right, for mine is Hassan Minaj's Netflix special. So Hassan Minaj is, if you haven't heard of him, he became famous through the Correspondence Dinner. He's been around for a while, but that's what he's became the most known for. He has a pretty good sense of humor. Goes through like his background story, how his parents met, him growing up, And it's really a good take on diversity and how it is being an immigrant and growing up as like first generation in the United States. And he's a pretty funny dude, so definitely check him out. He's on Netflix. So that's my hot shit.
Yeah, I saw it. It was pretty funny. It was super sad. But he was able to like, find the funny in the sadness. You know what I mean? So, that's it really spoke to me because I feel like I could relate to it as an immigrant, to this country. So I definitely check it out, man. It's definitely a good stand-up. So,
For sure.
all right, our next segment is Word on the Streets.
Word on these streets.
These Florida streets. All right, so our first topic is the possibility, I would say that the possibility of weed being legal, in America in the near future, and how that affects the society, especially how it affects people in prison that went there, for weed, and how to go about that because I feel like it would be really, messed up if in the near future this shit gets legalized and like you have niggas in jail that's like, yo, I'm here for shit that now is legal, that's being taxed heavy, and I can't get out. So
Well, I think, and a lot of celebrities have been speaking up about this, and a lot of people, I mean, really, with the whole weed legalization. Well, Chance the Rapper, during his Beats Award speech, he he mentioned like, well, what's happening with the people that are currently in jail, especially with weed being legalized. So imagine like you being in jail over a dime bag of weed, and then you have somebody making millions off of selling weed to people. I think it's just very backwards. Like our country is so advanced, but yet weed can't be legalized everywhere. So we have certain states where it is legalized, and in those states, what they've been seeing is that they have a lot more revenue than they could even predict. They have a lot of growth. A lot of people are moving to Denver. A lot of people are moving to Colorado. And a lot of people are moving to California and Washington State. So all those places, they're seeing a lot of growth. They're seeing a lot of their economy is booming. I was talking to somebody the other day when I went to Denver. They're saying that the people that invested in real estate in Denver before weed was legalized, those people are making so much money right now because everyone's moving to Denver. So anyone that had property over there, the value just skyrocketed. So I mean, we can talk through why weed isn't legalized and why it's just such a hot topic for America. So, CP, what do you think is the reason why weed isn't legalized everywhere?
what's not everywhere? That's a good question. I think, obviously there's the stigma of weed being the gateway drug, right, to other drugs. Um, and then also it's like, how do you? Because I feel like that's one thing that's used to like arrest niggas a lot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if you take that off the streets, if it's legal now, what are you gonna, like, pretty much? Because like we use, I mean, weed is used heavily. So if you make it legal now, it's gonna be like, well, like, what do we have to use now as an excuse to like, put niggas in jail? You know what I mean? Um,
Yep.
and
Feeding the
so
prison school to prison pipeline.
exactly, and that's a real thing. Like there are corporations, right, making money of niggas getting arrested, going to jail, and that's just straight up how it is. So it's like that's gonna affect that system of going going to prison. So it's like that's a part of it. And but I do believe that it will eventually happen. You know what I mean? Um, all over the country eventually. I don't know how many years from now, but there's actually like a few states, right, besides Cali and Colorado, where it's legal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and the people in those states, like, do you feel that people in Colorado who are in jail for that should be out by now?
Yeah. Yeah. Let them out.
Like,
Let
how
them the
how
fuck
would you
out.
feel? How would you feel like knowing that, yo, I'm in here for this shit, and now people can like freely enjoy
Walk
it.
into a store and
Yeah.
buy it. Go through a drive-through and get your weed. That's crazy to
What?
me.
It's like that's crazy, man. And so
Well, that will never
uh
happen. And the reason why is because these prisons get paid to have people in there. And that's, I think I learned a lot through Orange is the New Black. Regardless of how bad the plot is, we're not going to get into that. But the show really highlights like the for-profit prisons, like how they make money off of each and every body in the prison. So if they started letting all these people go, these prisons are losing their funding. These prisons are losing their money because they get paid per prisoner. So that's why they're not letting these people out, and it's really fucked up. And it's just a really fucked up situation. Like, how are you having like really rich, mostly white investors that have the money are making money off of weed, and then you have really poor, mostly black criminals that are in jail because they try to do the same thing but on a smaller scale.
bro, it's crazy. Like literally, like um, you can grow up to like 12 plants in your homes. I think in Maine, legally, bro. Like, you know what I
Jeez.
mean? Like, just think about that. And I really think right now, if you trying to invest, real talk, like long term, the weed industry is where you should put your money in, like, and wait it out because that's going to be a booming industry like all over. And so I really I really think there should be some kind of program to say, hey, if you're in jail for possession of weed and it's legal in that state, you should be free, or at least you should be in a process to get freed because that is just fucked up. You know what I mean?
And you know
So
why that hasn't happened yet? It's because people aren't fighting for it. Just like y'all fighting for Sense 8 to get a fucking finale, y'all need to be fighting to for these prisoners to get out of the prison system.
yeah, who's they?
What do you mean? Like the people who aren't protesting?
Yeah, like are you talking about like? Because I feel like people who don't smoke don't really like care um about the whole movement. You know what I mean? And so do you really think that if people were like protested and like did all this stuff, did a whole shebang on the internet, that it would really like have uh people in the Senate or whatever like make this happen?
Absolutely. Yep. If they press their members and if they like make a big deal about it, people would have no choice but to make it happen.
Well, there it is. I people need to make it happen. I mean, if you're out there and this is something that you're passionate about, like this is the only way is through putting pressure on the lawmakers. You know what I mean? So, I just feel bad for niggas right now that are paying a price for something that's legal now. I just think it's just logically it just
It's
doesn't
whack.
make any sense. Like yo, like there's the logic there is like ridiculous. But I
Like, could you
digress.
just imagine being in jail though? Like, just hearing about all this shit, and you just like hear about people like just making millions off the shit that you went to jail for, just for being an entrepreneur, and just because somebody said that this drug is illegal and it's a gateway drug and it's doing all these things, and and it can really be traced back to a lot of propaganda in like the early 1930s, especially with like when they started criminalizing a lot of things. So, um, first of all, it all kind of started with Mexico. Like they really outlawed marijuana because they felt like Mexicans used the drug and it was something that like really boosted the Mexican economy. So a lot of it was because of Mexicans. A lot of it was because like when they kind of went crazy and started barring all these drugs and just saying alcohol is illegal, all these things are illegal, they kind of looped marijuana into it. And then later on, like it just started being like poor communities that were using marijuana, so then they had no reason to uplift the bans. And as it progressed, they realized they could put people into jail because of marijuana possession and selling marijuana. So it became profitable to have like these people feeding the prison, which in turn was like feeding like different investors. So it's like this big machine. It's really crazy. But when you look at I feel like if people really sat down and they're like, okay, if we legalize this, it could be good for the cities, it could be good for this and that. I feel like if these people really sat down and looked at the good that it could do for different cities, it would be, it would really make a difference. I mean, if you look at, I don't know if you heard about this, but I think Portugal, they decriminalized all drugs, so you could get caught with I think personal amounts. Like if you get caught like 500 kilos of cocaine and it looks like you're about to sell to a whole island of people, then you could go to jail. But like for personal use, if people get caught with any kind of drugs in Portugal, they don't go to jail. Like I think you get sent to like rehab, or not rehab, but like counseling and all that shit. But you don't get sentenced to jail. And ever since they did that, their amount of drug use kind of went down because there was no market for it. So I think if weed was legalized, I feel like it wouldn't even be that big a deal. Like people wouldn't even really give a fuck. Now that's legal. I think people just do it just because it's illegal.
Do you think, let me ask you this, do you think that if, weed was legal all over, how would people still be able to function like at work and just, you know what I mean? Like would it have an effect on your regular like 9 to 5 Joe that goes to work every day or whatever?
Yeah, people would still be able to function. Like, look at Denver. Everybody in Denver is functioning pretty fine. I feel like Denver functions even better than the rest of the country. Like the boom that they're having, like the green rush. Like Denver is a bustling city. Like you see a skyscraper go up every day, like every hour. So Denver is doing pretty well. People that are potheads, I feel like there's always gonna be stupid people that, of course, like bring a joint to work and all that shit. But even if it wasn't legal, like if you're stupid regardless of the law. Like you're gonna bring a joint anyways, even if it was illegal. So those type of people should be ruled out and shouldn't affect the decision. But other people who are responsible know that they go to work, they come home, they smoke. They know that if they smoke before work, they're not going to be productive. Just like I know I can't down half a bottle of gin before I go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about like common sense. And if
Shit, I
people
could,
can,
you know what I mean? Shit, I mean, bruh, get a few shots at me, bro. I go to work mad happy, bro. Get mad shit done.
let's get this meeting cracking. It was good.
Nah, but I definitely, I feel like people who like, if someone was a professional, like they would, go to work, come home, and then smoke. You know what I mean? I feel like people wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna get high and then go to work. I mean,
Right.
unless you're like, like just one of those young kids or whatever. But um, it's a no-brainer to make this legal because the amount of money that they can make through through taxing, you know what I mean? Is
Hell
like
yeah.
it's fucking huge, bro. Like the revenue that could help, all these states is like I don't know how you can even argue that point, and I don't know why it's not even legal, all over by now because that would help a lot with, budget crisis. We need to rebuild the roads. We need to pay our teachers more. There's so much shit that needs to happen, and you have an industry that can boom right now, by tomorrow even if people would just like get over this fear, get over this whole all this other shit that's being, put in people's minds about weed. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
um,
and it could reduce the crime rate. Like imagine if you were a drug dealer in Denver and then when they made weed legal, you're probably like shit, like all my fucking customers, they can just now walk in and get twice the fucking weed for the shit that I could sell them for. So if you're a drug dealer, the you're being put out of business because you have all these dispensaries that are selling to people. They're open all the time. You don't got to meet nobody in a shady parking lot. You just walk in, you get your weed. Like you don't got to worry about getting robbed while getting your weed. So the crime rate is lowering. Like people don't aren't checking for drug dealers anymore. Like people are just going to dispensaries. So the cops really have nobody to arrest. And I think that's why they're not making it legal. But if they really wanted to like lower crime rates and like focus the police's efforts on some other shit besides catching small ass drug dealers, I think if they wanted to do that, they could.
but do you think that as a drug dealer, you think I would be happy that this shit's happening?
Nah, drug
Because
dealers are
yeah,
pissed. I don't
Yeah,
know
because
any, but I feel like they would be.
right. So, do you think that would like would cause more, not more violence, but like what would you do right now if you're a drug dealer, bro, and it got legal and you're like, yo, I need to make my money. Like, what am I? You know what I mean? What am I gonna do?
Shit. Well, you shit out of luck. You ain't got shit to do.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they'll be like, well, I gotta find some other shit to sell that's not legal. And I'm sure that would happen. I'm sure people would be like, you know what, I can't sell weed 'cause it's legal now. So I gotta go sell some other shit. But at the end of the day, I do think that it would reduce crime and it would help with the revenue for all the different states. And it would be a win-win for everybody. So
Yeah, let me
yeah.
just drop a little nugget of knowledge. I know I mentioned it previously before when you talked about Potcoin, but
Hmm.
people in the weed industry, they really have nowhere to put their money because federally, if it's marijuana money, you can't put it into any kind of federal banking institution. So, because even though weed is legal in the states, it's not legal federally, which is pretty dumb, which is the point of this whole argument. But anyways, so a lot of these people with in the weed industry are looking for ways to invest their weed, and they're also looking for cryptocurrency or like electronic currency where they can just trade and like fake money, but it still can be converted into real money at the end of the day, kind of like Bitcoin for anyone who's familiar with that. So, if you're looking to invest your money and if you see what's happening with all this shit getting legalized, I would advise personally to invest your money in some kind of shit like Potcoin. Not necessarily Potcoin because they try to start World War III, but some shit like that.
Yeah, I remember
With
that.
that stupid ass move with Buddy with the crazy hair.
Yeah.
But anyways, Dennis Rodman. But anyways, so my advice would be to invest your money in some kind of cryptocurrency, kind of like Potcoin. And when that shit goes, like when the boom happens, when the green boom happens, you gonna make some money, and then you gonna send me 20% because you got the advice from me.
Yeah, that's good advice, man. So I'm definitely gonna look up because I'm honestly, I've been looking at like different industries or companies in the stock market that are investing in this industry, so that when it booms, I'm right there with it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So because I know it's gonna happen eventually. That's just a fact of life. So um, all right, I think we're good on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
All
good.
right. All right, bet. So our next topic is culture appropriation in the music industry.
Mm.
So it is what it is. Um, other artists that are not black have, been using the culture to make their own success for decades, and so we wanted to talk about this in detail. And I did some research, and this goes back. This goes way back, like
Way back.
to the beginning of like music in America. I was like, damn, that's crazy. So, um, so I put my research, man. This is what I found out. So first of all, as we know, the foundation of black music is jazz. That's where we use our influences from Africa. You know, what I mean, to express ourselves. Since the beginning. So, um, the crazy thing, yo, is that do you know the king of jazz, or who was dubbed the king of jazz in the 20s, was not a black dude,
Really?
but it was a white dude. Yeah. So in the 1920, um, I don't remember his name, but anyway, this white dude kind of like took the music, right? Um, Made it mainstream, sung it and whatever, played it, and he was dubbed the king of jazz in the 20s. Um, and then we go from that to swing in the 1930s. A white man, right, named Benny Goodman, was dubbed the king of swing, um, another black genre. And then we know about Elvis, right, king of rock and roll, who stole pretty much his black music, stole that from Chuck Berry, right? And then we go to Justin Timberlake, who was dubbed the King of R&B in '03
Oh
by
God.
Rolling Stone. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I don't know.
And then we all know about Eminem, who was considered um, the Elvis of hip hop. And so it's like, man, every genre that you could think of, this has happened over the years. And it's like, well, it's just continues on and on to today. So, yeah.
And it now is going down to the Kardashians, right? Because they're like appropriating not just music, but like different types of black culture.
Right, right. They just had the scandal right now with the Biggie shirts where they are using Biggie shirts and putting their faces on there or their names to sell it, and it actually sold out. Like, they sold it out. So it's like, yo, what the fuck? You know?
Wow. Well, okay. So, what would you say to somebody that says, "Oh, it's just a face on a shirt"? What would your response be?
It's not just a face, it's a face of someone that has major influence on the culture, right? And so you're only selling these shirts because of that influence of that person, which is Biggie Smalls, right? And so it's not really something that you have created. You are just stealing someone's fame and fortune and recognition to make money for yourself, right? So it's stealing, especially if you don't have approval from the estate of Biggie. And so that's what I would tell those guys, man. Like it's really sad. And it's like that you have to use someone that's passed away with a major influence to make your money, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I feel like they just do shit. I wish they had somebody on their team to kind of guide them, and like just somebody to sit them down and be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" That's all they need. I feel like no one ever told them to sit down and just ask them what the fuck they're doing, and that kind of goes back to white parenting versus black parenting. I feel like nobody just told them like, "Sit your ass down somewhere, Kylie or Kendall," and now they just feel privileged and they feel like they can do what they want.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like pre their whole fame is from appropriating black culture. And but you know what a crazy thing is though? Like I was thinking about it, like in the big scheme of things,
Yeah,
c culture in America is what?
black. No, I
It's
don't know.
black culture.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
oh
almost
yeah.
don't want because people be like, oh, we're talking about black culture, we're talking about culture. I'm like, yo, it's the exact same thing. When you say culture, what you're really saying is black culture because that's what it is. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I feel like people need to understand that there's only one culture, and that's the black culture, and that's what is in all the blogs, every industry you can think of, from movies to music, and that's not being told. So,
Yeah,
um,
and I wish it would have that same passion when it came to like the shooting. I really wish I would have heard from Kylie or Kendall about the Philando Castile shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna take the culture, take the struggles also. Like I really would be a little bit more apt to defend them if they used just simply a tweet from them saying Philando Castile shooting, so sad. Just those words could have caused an uproar, could have caused just brought mass media attention to what's going on in our political system nowadays. But nah, they want to use their shit just to like put their faces on shirts. Probably can't even name five Tupac songs. Probably can't even name one Biggie song. And it just seems like they're just taking the cool parts of the culture and then like the other parts, they just don't really give a fuck about it.
and to go to your point to that, I watched an interview with Sway in the Morning, and he had who's the guy from Interscope? Oh, I can't think of his name. It's the white dude that was with Death Row that helped Death Row. Anyways, in the interview, he was saying that back in the day, people like John Lennon, the Beatles, they admitted that they got their inspiration from black artists.
Wow.
Um, they gave credit publicly to those artists, and they said, hey, like without Chuck Berry, without those guys, Sam Cooke, I wouldn't be doing this right now. This is where I got my influence from, and I feel like today right now, man, like people just take shit and they don't like um
They
give
don't give
give
credit.
give credit where it's due, right? And they just like make it their own. Like Miley Cyrus twerking, like she invented that shit when you know it she did not, right? So it's like if you're gonna take stuff from the culture, from black culture, like at least have the decency to give credit to where it came from and appreciate the culture that you are using to make your money off of. You know what I mean? And that's my biggest thing about this whole thing.
Yeah. And what's interesting too is that like now people know what appropriation is. I feel like when I was growing up, let's say if I was in the third grade or fourth grade, I would never know what appropriation is. I just would feel mad like when I saw shit like that, but I never knew how to express it. So I'm glad we're now developing the language to call shit out. Now Katy Perry is apologizing for her awkward performance with Migos, which felt a little bit forced. It's not because she felt like what she did was wrong. Like she just kept seeing the word appropriation and she felt like she had to say something. She never saw what was really wrong with it. But either way, like these pop stars, they want to use the black community, and again, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with having a hip hop artist on your track. There's nothing wrong with you liking Biggie or Tupac. I'm not saying you can't do that because of your skin color, because like when people make music, it's for everybody. But if you're appreciating something, especially if you're making money off of something, one, give credit, like you said, and two, make sure that you don't just take the cool parts of the culture. Make sure that like you speak up for the people that need it. Make sure that you speak up when a black person is killed, when there's another police shooting. Speak up when speak up about Flint. There's no water in Flint. You know what I'm saying? Like don't just pick the cool parts of the culture and that's appropriation. Like you just pick whatever would look good, you put it on as a costume, and then when it doesn't serve you anymore, you take it off. Pretty much what Miley Cyrus did, pretty much what Katy Perry did, pretty much what Justin Bieber did. That's what Madonna did like throughout her career in the 80s. Like she had that whole Vogue video where she like took black culture, but I didn't know it went back to all the way back to the beginning of like jazz and all that. So that's pretty informative.
And another thing that is true is that every time a genre, right, a part of the genre is taken over by the whites, by the whites. I'm sorry, that was funny. We have to reinvent ourselves. You know what I mean? And a good example of that is when they took jazz or whatnot and we created soul, right, from gospel music
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff, and we created soul. And guess what happened? They took soul and made disco. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like every time, like the genre gets taken, we have to reinvent it. So like would it be like gangster rap, you know what I mean? That's taken. Then we go to conscious rap. Every little genre you can find, we have to reinvent ourselves, and eventually over time that is taken over. So we need to come up with a different subgenre every time that is true to our culture to keep it going, and that's crazy. Um, and one of the thing that I also discovered was, which I'm not sure how I feel about this, but they're saying that it's you can consider it to be a culture genocide. How do you feel about that word, those two words right there?
Yeah, I can see how it can be culture genocide, but one thing I know is that like black people always prevail no matter what happens. So even though even though like the culture keeps getting killed, I feel like it always keeps being regenerated into something bigger and better. So I'm not really scared of appropriation. I'm not really scared of any of that shit. It sucks, but I mean, I feel like good shit always prevails. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and we're not here just to rant and like not come with a solution. If you're a white artist or whatever it may be, and you are using, black swag, black culture, whatever it may be, like the appreciation of black music, it goes hand in hand with appreciation of black people.
Yep.
and black cause. You know what I
And
mean?
black
So
struggle. Like our
black
music is so linked to our struggle that you can't just pick the music and then leave the struggle behind.
because the foundation of black music, you're right, is pain and suffering that
Right?
want to express, and that's what jazz is, that's what blues is, that's what gospel is, that's what soul is, R&B, all of that is expression of our suffering. And so for you to take the good part and just make it a popish mainstream song, but then forget all of the emotions with it, it's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? So I really would wish that artists that are doing this can like look back and say, you know what? I need to appreciate black people, black culture, black struggle if I'm gonna take their music and their sound and profit from it, So that's the
Definitely.
solution to me, as far as that goes. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just wanted to make one last point that rock and roll was invented by a black woman. So if you ever see me in my car, the windows down, I'm jamming to Metallica, or I'm jamming to like bring me the horizon, some hardcore shit. Just know that I'm enjoying my culture, so don't look at me fucking weird. That's it.
what and yeah, isn't it crazy that black people feel weird when they're listening to rock and out loud, right? Like you
Yeah,
feel weird, right? Because you're like, yo, like it's not rap, it's not hip hop, but rock and roll is a black genre. You know what I mean? And
exactly. And then a
and you
car filled with white teenagers or white adults could just drive by blasting Migos, and it's perfectly okay. But I can't jam out to Metallica. I can't jam out to Fall Out Boy.
Green
If I wanted to
Green
jam
Day.
out to Fall
I said Green Day. I don't know if that's the
Green
right
Day,
genre.
right?
That's all I know. So, but yeah. So who is at the top of the labels? Um, is white folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So if you look at it from back in the day to now, like the power or disparity between whites and blacks in the music industry,
it's still
it
there.
just it's still there. So it shows you that there's another tool. It's just a tool that they use to, use the culture to pretty much profit from us in every way they can. You know what I mean? However they can. And so it really hasn't changed. Like we make the art, but who's at the top making the profit? Whether it
Making the
be
decisions, calling
uh,
the shots.
Interscope Records, all the big labels right now. It's not us.
Nope.
So if you look at music industry, you look at NFL, the NBA, it's the same power structure. So
Yeah,
um,
and it all comes down to money, but we'll get into that another time.
all right. So I think we hit this on the head. And I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to it.
Nah, I'm good. Kylie and Kendall, stay in your lanes. Mind your business. Enjoy your white privilege. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Facts. Okay, so our next segment is fuck you mean, bruh.
Fuck you mean, bruh. Alright. Our first fuck you mean is CNN confirmed fake news. Well, that's our only fuck you mean.
Fake news.
Yeah, so CNN, we're rooting for you. We're all rooting for you. How dare you fucking come up with this fake news shit? Who the fuck do you think you are? And then you prove Donald Trump right. First of all, I think CNN had a big part in Donald Trump winning the election personally because of the way they covered Donald Trump, the way they covered Hillary. They had all these polls saying that Donald Trump wasn't even in the lead, and then boom, Donald Trump wins. Of course, it might have been some meddling with Russia, but anyways, so Donald Trump been saying y'all fake news for the longest, and now y'all go ahead and confirm that shit. You're telling me you're such a big news organization that no one checked what you guys were putting out. Like no one was fact checking, especially the person that says that you guys are putting out fake news. Fuck you mean, bruh. What the fuck is wrong with y'all at CNN?
I feel like, but do you think there's at least like some truth to it? I feel like there's like a small truth to the whole Russia thing, and maybe that they just say, hey, this is like a lot of good views and shit and ratings. So let's blow it up and keep it going. And he just like made all kinds of shit from it. And now it came out that it was mostly all bullshit. So
Yeah, I
um,
think they got caught up in the Russia hysteria.
damn, well, it's all about views, bro. Views from the sex. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but now they're losing their credibility, and
at the end of the day, all the news media in the States are biased. I don't care what you say, CNN, Fox, ABC, whatever it may be. Like, I feel like there isn't one true news network that's totally unbiased, and I'll leave it at that. So, um,
yeah, sometimes what I do is I like to watch international news, like the way they cover America, because they don't give a fuck. Like they just trying to cover news. So when I'm really looking for unbiased shit, I'll probably look at like BBC or some other shit.
is BBC not American?
Nah, it's British.
Okay, I'll look in that. So yeah, because I think I need that, bro. Because I stopped watching that CNN and everything. I'm like, yo, I always feel like I'm being drilled a certain perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
And
pushed a certain way.
right, so I don't want you to judge your narrative. I want to be able to draw my own narrative, my own conclusions. So, that's that. Fuck you, mean, bro. CNN, Don Lemon, get it together. So, um, our next segment is quotes. But before I get onto quotes, I have a small, quick announcement. Big announcement, right? We have our first comment
Whoop whoop.
ever, yeah, on
Shit.
SoundCloud. I think episode one. I won't mention any names, but and pretty much it was mostly good, except for the fact that the my quote was, I guess came off as offensive to that person,
A little
and I just want to,
insensitive. A little insensitive.
yeah, a little insensitive. So I just want to make it clear that I don't have any issues with people that have mental health. I'm not trying to uh, be negative towards that. I know it exists, and I hope everyone gets the help that they need. But my point in that was to say, hey, if there's a problem, you're not bringing a solution to it, get out of here. But my get out of here is, kill yourself. You know what I mean? So it's ignorant, but there's no ill will towards it. That's just how it is. The show is raw, and we're gonna give you what we feel in the rawness of it, no filter, uncensored. But appreciate the comment, and I hope you come back to listen to some more. And yeah, that's my little stuff.
All
And
feedback is
now,
welcome, good or bad. Tell us how you feel.
exactly, good or bad. So thank you for being our first comment ever, and we'll look forward
Shit.
to seeing more positive slash negative good comments from you guys. All right, so now onto quotes, and I will let you go first. Black Caesar.
I bet. So this week I'm supposed to have an ignorant quote, and my quote is actually not my own. It came from the also wise, also famous Sauce God, Gucci Mane LaFleur. You know what I'm saying? So when Gucci was in court and the judge asked him whether he was intoxicated or not, Gucci's famous, notorious, timeless response was, "Bitch, I might be." So
Can I get some context, please?
yeah, so the judge, well, not intoxicated. So Gucci went to court, and there's live footage of this, by the way. Gucci went to court, and the judge asked him, "Are you guilty?" At that point, Gucci didn't give not one single fuck, and he was like, "Bitch, I might be." And that's my quote for you guys. If you feel like somebody's asking you some irrelevant shit and they're like prying a little bit into your business, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're like a little bit tipsy, somebody's like, "Have you been drinking?" You be like, "Are you drunk?" You're like, "Bitch, I might be," and that's it.
All right, true facts. All right, mine's is serious, so it's not ignorant. Here it goes. So, if I have a cup of coffee that is too strong for me because it is too black, I weaken it by pouring cream into it. This
Wow.
is by Malcolm X. And so I won't give you any context. This is what it is, and just think about culture appropriation, and the culture and how it is used in the mainstream and discord. You know what I mean? So everything that we create, they always strip it down, right, and add their version of it, pop, whatever you want to call it, and then give us the weak, fake version of the real stuff, which is your lattes, your whatever you want to call them. So, yeah, that's my quote. From Malcolm X, legend. So, you.
I bet. So that's it for our episode of Ignorant Banter. Thank you for tuning in. We out.
All
Yo,
right.
CP, did you want to do the outro?
Yeah, before I go, this episode of Ignorant Banter, episode 8, has been sponsored by Red Bull. It gives me wings, you know what I mean? So get out there and get you some Red Bull, man. It is like crack cocaine, but not really, it's legal and shit. So, all right, I'm Crazy P, aka CP, aka Malta Boy, aka Black TMZ, aka Fried Beans, Fried Pork, Fried Cereal. Again, back at it. We'll see you in episode 9, and I guess we're out. You.
Hi, it's Slimback Jones, the Don, aka Black Caesar, aka Caesar Alamo. Stay healthy, stay hydrated. We out.